Welcome to our third instalment of Loose Lips. Here with me, Ben Random. We're going to be speaking with a gent, Craig Crouchman, who's going to be coming into the group. As soon as he does, we'll be able to begin our conversation. He is a videographer who is based in the Toon in Geordieland, Newcastle. So we'll be speaking to him about setting up your own business, your own enterprise, and then looking to tap him up for some tricks of the trade as well. But for those of you that are new to Loose Lips, what it is, it's a chat show based on good vibes only. So we've had a plethora of guests over the past 4 weeks getting into detail with their life story and what it is for them, their successes, how they've overcome obstacles, and basically looking to share optimism with the people that are watching as well. So thank you everybody who does tune in. If you're looking to see any of the back catalogue, then do get involved on Pop Cult Sheet on YouTube and you can find everything there. Craig's actually in the group, so he's just going to send me a request. Shout out as well, Pete, who I interviewed on Darion. Interviewed him last week. Here we go, the request is coming through. See if the technology does its thing.
Hey,
Why I?
how's it doing, mate? You good?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Oh, mate, first of all, I'm loving that chandelier and that bit above it. It looks well regal.
Yeah, it's all right. People don't own it, but yeah.
I can tell you set your shut up perfectly, you know what I mean? Good backdrop, I
I've
like
got the
it.
I've got the old blank Word document going on to give it as a key light.
That's it. How have you been?
Not too bad, mate. Yeah, busy. But yeah, all good.
So have you still been busy then through this time? I know
Yeah,
when we were
yeah.
speaking. Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
so we've just I've kind of thrown myself into a couple of like online marketing courses, and we've been doing this little series called Surviving Social Distancing on IGTV on our wedding filmmaking company's page, and people seem to like it, so kind of kept doing it. And it started off like clues in the name, like what to do like during social distancing and stuff, and it's kind of like it's almost changed a little bit to like, because from the very first episode was like 5 weeks ago, and it was when social distancing was kind of like, you know, the lockdown was only like kind of on the horizon. No one really knew about it yet. And I was watching them back the other day and I was like, God, how much has changed? Like, not only like have I got so much hair on the side of my head, like not being able to go to the barbers, mate, it's been so hard.
You,
It's mad at it.
what is under here, mate? I'm super fair. I've shown everyone, so I'll show you as well.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I'm trying to grow out the task, you see. So
I could see you were like doing that whole like Monopoly Man thing as you were speaking.
yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it like I look like, you know, a bit weird, but thought, you know, not really gonna get another chance like this. So yeah. Anyway, off on a tangent. I'm sure that's gonna happen. I'm sure that's gonna happen a few times. So yeah, it's kind of changed a little bit. That social distancing thing's changed a bit because it started off like, right, here's a few like ideas of things to do, and as like the episodes went on, it's like, right, shit, like, you know, lockdown now, shit's getting real, you know, and then up to now, it's just like, right, this is what we're doing to pass the time. This is what we're doing. This is how we feel about certain things. You know, I've got another episode planned for either this week or next week, just talking about like probably some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, like the fact that 4 or 5 weeks ago it was like the initial like moment, you know, and there was like 2 weeks followed of like ridiculous long 14-hour days just trying to keep on top of everything, which in hindsight now was like wasted energy, you know, because like trying to figure out answers to questions that you don't even know what the questions are yet, you know, like, and because everything's just changing so much, like so rapidly, it was just like, right, whoa, halt, slow down a bit, you know.
I think you're inclined to jump into it like you did because that's the thing, it's the uncertainty. But
Yeah,
then as time sort of prevails, you see your best way of managing it yourself and what you can get out of it in a sense of what do you want to be? How do you want to be set up when this is all, when everything resumes?
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, like whoever's like watching that, I don't know if they know like what I do primarily for a living. Like I film weddings for a living, so they can, you can understand how that's all been knocked back minimum for the next 5 months. Probably longer. Like as time goes on, I'm kind of coming to grips with the fact that it probably is going to, be affected well in at least the next year. It's going to be affected. Maybe not the actual weddings, but there's going to be nowhere near as many people going to be able to go to these weddings. So it's just kind of slowly trying to prepare for this kind of thing. But the main reason I started doing these things was because I got made redundant from my job about a year ago, like around about now. And I was filming some IBE stuff with you guys and stuff, and I did like 4 or 5 weddings before that point, and I kind of threw myself into like starting this wedding film business, and like the plans were in motion before that, but like this is what that was like the thing that was going to that's what I was going to concentrate most of my efforts on. And we spent all last year getting everything in place and getting equipment, and this I was supposed in 2 weeks time we were supposed to be going to film our first abroad wedding in France, and like we had all these like things planned in. I was supposed to be like 6 weddings deep already this year, and like all of that has obviously halted. So yeah, the reason I was kind of wanting to do this little series is just to like mainly so people don't like kind of forget about it. You know what I mean? Like we've spent a year trying to like kind of make good first initial impact and stuff, and then I don't want to undo all of that work just by like kind of sitting back. So that was the main reason, just so like people still know that we're here and things like that.
Would you like to let people know the name of it so they can add it on Instagram?
Yes, hello there, films represent.
Is that a tote bag?
Yeah. Next time I come Leeds, you and Ricky are getting one.
Hey, Ricky's in group. Shout out Ricky. Shout
out Ricky.
So is one of the blessings as well being able, and this is what I really want to get into nuts and cranny of, is how do you know when you want to film and when you're not overkilling? So in this moment now, right, you're creating a narrative of what's going on through the lockdown with the social distancing, and you're almost documenting it basically. But how do you get not overly keen? So let's take away the world that we're in, right?
Yeah.
When you're out and about, do you not just want to get everything as you, that'd be an amazing shot, but it takes time to get set up. So I'm sort of wondering how you get the two. How do you know what you want to shoot, but not just be one of those like, this could work. Like how do you get the two?
I don't know. It's hard because like I take my camera pretty much everywhere with us. Like our camera is always on us, and if I haven't got my camera, I've obviously got my phone, which I'll film some stuff on. It totally just depends. Like if it's something that I know that I'm quite good at like if something goes past and I'll be like, right, I'm never gonna be able to get my camera out in time to film that. I'd rather just take a visual memory of it right now and be like, fuck, I seen that earlier on. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's something you just kind of got to get used to, I think.
Do you feel like on the back of that, moments that you sort of keep in the bank, so to speak, are you wanting to get into filmmaking as well? And then is that where you've just got this vault of different scenes where you're like, that I didn't get to capture that, but that could work pretty well?
Yeah. So if I miss something, it's always like, right, keep that in mind, write a note down. Like my notes app on my phone is just full of that kind of thing, like even if it's just like, right, I could think of something to go and film there. If I go for a walk and stuff and we're like, going past wedding venues and stuff like that, you can do little recce's to be like, we could take a wedding couple like here for like a little wander and stuff, just to get some like kind of time away from the hustle and bustle of the actual wedding day. And you can do that just by wandering about, or like, I could put them behind the tree or in front of the tree or in front of this fence or like in this archway or next to this building and stuff like that. So it's just trying to like, the mind of a creative, man, it's bonkers. Like you've just got to try and like bank everything. And yeah, if you can't, I'll often take photographs of stuff and just keep them on my phone and be like, right, that's worth revisiting, In terms of actual filmmaking, I was supposed to be shooting a horror film this year, but that got kind of like knocked back. And I've got a couple of scripts that I'm like kind of looking at the minute. but obviously we're kind of shooting out of the minutes, you know. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to get into. At least like just to say I've done it, even if I don't, even if I don't enjoy it, you know, like just to do one narrative film would be pretty sick. You know what I mean?
Well, Pete's in the group, Pete
Yeah,
Trivanovich, and he says, "Can he have a T-shirt?" But
yeah. Cool. Let's get some t-shirts printed first. But
when he was on the show, we were speaking about
very talented dude.
100%. He
Yeah,
is definitely, and what we were discussing is what went into make Busking Turf
yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
So, do you ever feel like you could step in? Because what was really cool, speaking to Pete, was if he hindsight's a beautiful thing, and if he would have looked back at how long it would have taken to do Busking Turf Wars, it might have
Hmm.
put him off initially.
Yeah,
And now he loves getting to spend more time on what you get to do with a short to build up to the feature, which I never
yeah,
thought it would have actually been. So,
yeah.
with yourself, do you feel like when you get into the filmmaking world, like you say, it's maybe just to say that you've done it, but will it be
Mm.
short in a short capacity, or will it be feature? And also, with you being mainly a videographer, are you going to be involved with the whole creation of the producing and the scripts, or would you just necessarily turn up and just operate the visual element?
Mm. So I've a massive interest in like the entire filmmaking like world anyway, like from initial ideas to storyboarding to like animatics, and then you know the production team, and then having everyone in the actual team work together. Like I've worked on a couple of kind of short films with some friends, and I work with a bunch of them kind of up in Newcastle, like in the northeast. You know, some narrative music videos and stuff like that. And I was always it was always like a it was such a fresh kind of environment, and everyone had like their own job, you know. And because like with wedding films, you've got like, you know, I know I shoot with Charlotte, but you know you've got to be, you know, you've got to organize all the meetings, you've got to be a salesperson, you've got to be a web designer, you've got to be, you know, an editor, a producer, all of that stuff. But like the narrative side of it's always been like really interesting to me because it's such like a team effort, you know. That side of it's always been really interesting, and yeah, I try and probably do too much at once, but I've kind of got like the hindsight of Pete making a feature length film before he wants to start making more shorts, and he's like, no, I'll never do that again. And like all my pals have all said the same, like they'd want to try and get like if they want to get funding for say a feature film, you make like you know a short for it. It's called I can't remember concept shooting for concept or something like that. And it's basically see if your idea has got substance to be made into a feature film. So you have like a 5-10 minute short, and then go to, you know, some people with some money and be like, right, this is the short. Are you interested in seeing more? You know.
So maybe do a scene to capture them into the imagination of what it is, and then give them a
Yeah,
pitch with a storyboard.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we still have to have like beginning, middle, and end. We still have to kind of like gather, you know, people's interests and stuff. But yeah, proof of concept. There you go, Pete. Thanks
Here
very
he
much
is.
for
Here he is. Do you think
that.
you'd ever work with Pete? I could see you two
I hope
collaborating.
so. I hope so. Yeah, because Pete's like mad. Like his like actual storytelling ability is really, really good. Like Busk and Turf Wars was mint, and yeah, I'd love. So yeah, Pete, give us a shout if you want an extra camera up. I'll run around making you cups of coffee or something.
I really love, and for anybody who's not aware, me and Craig, he's been involved helping me and my business partner Ricky for IB, which is Industry Boxing Events, and Craig creates the whole like pre-video teasers, but then you also tell like these wrap-up stories of like and of the actual event. And what I really love is like I really love the shots, and it's real got cool cinematography to how you actually capture those and tell those stories. But I also love the way that the music as well, the way that you edit to the music as well. Like I think that's such a skill that you really have.
Thanks.
That's it. There's no question. That's it. Good night, everybody. Bye.
See you
But no,
later.
do you find like when you get into the filmmaking process of it, like, and it is such a collaborative team effort, but what would be your strongest roles that you'd like to take on within that? Because editing's another strong asset, but then as you say, it's different people doing their roles. So which would you
Yeah.
prefer out of them all to sort of be editing into?
I know that's difficult, man, because like I really love the editing aspect of it. Like I like going into like a bit of an editing cave and being like, right, I've got 5 hours worth of footage, and you need to make something that's 6 minutes long and make sure it's not boring and it needs to have some kind of narrative structure to it, even if there isn't anyone talking on screen. It needs to have some kind of build up, some kind of climax, and then some kind of kind of outro. Do you know what I mean?
Just to
So.
pause on that before you elaborate on that answer,
Mhm.
is that something that beforehand you're already pre-planning what the narrative is, or does that come across through what you capture?
Well, in terms of like the IBA stuff, you'd always kind of rely on if there was rematches and stuff. You would build the music up to that point of like the actual rematch going on, or you'd obviously have like I like doing a lot of setup and stuff, and like the kind of the build up's always really good to kind of build this kind of tense experience and
Set the
suspense. Do you know what
mood.
I mean? Yeah, definitely. And it kind of like, because IB's always in these kind of like really grand places, you can really show them off as well, And like people don't expect, you to put a boxing ring in, the town hall in Leeds and stuff like that. So it's good to kind of play with that kind of false kind of perception that you'd
Juxtaposition.
have. Yeah, definitely.
And then, sorry, I know I interrupted, but
I can't remember what the other question
yeah.
was.
So the which sort of roles would you feel you'd be best suited to, with everybody having their different parts? When you step to a film, which would you be the one that you'd want to run with the most?
Uh, I love like I really, really enjoy like pre-production, like trying to figure everything out beforehand. Even though with weddings, that's not really feasible. You get to know your couple and stuff like that. You get to like figure out like their likes and dislikes and kind of what you need to concentrate on the day. But when it comes to like actual narrative stuff, I do like the plan inside of it. Um, I mean, I say that now. I've not actually worked on a big narrative production, so I might, but I like that side of it, and I like being kind of like on set and getting into the mix, and yeah, probably like being a camera operator would be pretty sick. So
Do you feel could you leave somebody to edit your own use of the stuff that you've captured?
so when I do like kind of commercial work, we have to hand it off to an editor, and that was kind of really strange to start off with
Yeah.
because um, with weddings, me and Charlotte shoot everything, and then I edit everything. I watch everything that we get at that wedding, and you kind of learn like all right, well we can definitely use this, won't use this, but you kind of remember what you've been shooting. But editing something that you haven't touched is kind of like, it's strange because you haven't got like a kind of emotional connection to it. You can be a lot more ruthless with that. Whereas when it comes to weddings and stuff, it's like, all right, I remember like the groom cracked a joke at this point of like, right, I know like the angle's not the best, but it needs to go in. Um, in terms of handing my footage off to someone else, I'd just be so worried. The thought it was really messy, so I'd probably not do it. Like,
I've always found that really, really weird because, when you are shooting, you're shooting with the sort of final piece in mind. So
yeah,
when you do have to hand it off, obviously you might have a certain way that you want to shoot, but then someone might have a completely different editing style. So that's
yeah.
something that's always thrown me with post, with how people are able to hand it over and just trust. I personally think the editor should maybe be on set, or if definitely not on set, then somebody who's been on set should be with the editor.
Yeah. I mean, in bigger productions, you might have like the director being sat with the editor because that's, they want to get their idea across the best, and the editor could just take it and run with it and completely like, give the wrong kind of, final product, if you know what I mean. Uh, but good editors are just that, man. Like they're class, and they know what to do, and they get briefed before that as well. So, um, yeah, I've kind of edited videos since I was like 14, so I do love it. I'd have to do it if I'd have to love it if I'd be doing it for like oh my God, like 17 years or something, man. That's
What?
meant. I mean, off and on, like I did animation at uni, but then I came back to it because, yeah, loved it, man. It's good.
Are you still developing that side, the animation? I didn't know you had a base in animation.
Yeah, so I did graphic design at uni, and kind of specialised in motion graphics. I did really enjoy it because you've got like what I like about animation is you've got complete creative freedom. You know, you can like anything that's in your head, you can create. You know what I mean? You don't need something that looks similar to it. You can just make it. You know, if you've got, you know, you can do some basic Photoshop stuff and do some 2D animation and just get it done, boom, right, like that. And it's like amazing. I remember the first time I did stop motion animation and I was just like mind blown at the possibilities that you can do, you know?
Is that
And
what they
then,
use in South Park, or they used to use in the early episodes anyway? That stop.
yeah, it's a bit more complex now, but it's all like flat 2D animation and stuff, yeah. The principles are still the same as South Park, but they've kind of ran with the idea a little bit, I think. Like, the thing that I love about that though is like, you know, you've got the total creative freedom, but at the same time, I'd be at uni spending a week doing something, and I would have at the end of the week, I'd have 10 seconds. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it would be like, right, okay, it's definitely tedious, and I still love it, but it's yeah. So basically, the reason I'm not doing it is I couldn't find a job back up in Newcastle doing animation, and that's why I kind of got back into video production, and then started filming weddings, and then mate, weddings are class, you know, like, and you know what I'm like. I'm an old school romantic anyway, so like weddings is the perfect thing, man. So and
Is there a lot of pressure on weddings? Because you're capturing the most special day of two people's
yeah, I mean,
lives.
you definitely can't ask the bride to kiss the groom for the second time. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't. You don't have to. But I kind of buzz off the pressure of it though, really, because like it forces you to get creative as well. Like a lot
In
of
a
wedding
sense of,
venues.
in a sense of, do you have to switch up how you shoot the weddings, or can you have a sort of
Oh
template
man,
because
yeah,
it's
you've got
new people?
yeah. So you've got. We'll always meet up with couples before before we shoot the wedding. Sometimes they'll opt in for like a kind of pre-wedding shoot where we interview them and stuff like that. So you can kind of figure out like if they're a little bit camera shy and where you need to place the camera and stuff like that. You just need to think about basic things like how can I make this person look the best, like depending on what side we're going to stand on and stuff. But with weddings, it's all about adapting, man. You've got to so much can go wrong on a wedding day that you've just got to kind of like accept it and roll with it. You can kind of try and plan it out and everything, but it just doesn't work like that. So it's all about like just adapting and just trying to figure it all out on the day, you know. But
And
at the same time, I buzz off the pressure of that because it forces you into these creative situations. Like, right, a wedding venue that you've kind of looked at on Google Maps and all of that kind of stuff, and you'd be like, right, this is where I'm going to place these three cameras. Charlotte's going to be there, I'm going to be there, one at the back, and then you get there, and the venue manager's like, you can't stand there, and it's like, right, okay, you can either like fret about it or just be like, right, sound, this is where I'm going to go because it's going to keep him happy, and I need him to I need to keep him happy because he's feeding me later on. Do you know what I mean?
that's pretty cool. And I suppose off the back of that, what I was sort of thinking is with weddings,
Mm-hmm.
the it's such inclusive sort of. This is such a crazy. This is a proper barnes. You ready? It's such a inclusive, exclusive party because it's inclusive for everybody that's there, but it's exclusive because you can't just wander in. So how do you submerge yourself into that world? Do you ever feel that you have to be noticed because obviously you're capturing it and people know you're there, but you also have to be hidden so
Yeah,
that people aren't faking their reactions for the camera?
yeah. So it's something that we've worked at for a while. And me and Charlotte, I mean, Charlotte currently has bright orange hair. I'm 6'4". We're not like the most inconspicuous couple. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, we kind of stand off and kind of like just not hide because that makes it sound like a bit weird and a bit creepy. But you kind of just stand back and watch what's going on, and you can't, just figure out. You can tell when someone's gonna. It's all about preempting stuff. So you can tell when someone's gonna laugh because you can tell on the face. It's right. Point the camera that way. Right, bang, get that, move on. anyone with wrinkles, you know, point the camera at them because they love being on camera, you know. Yeah, you just kind of got to. So we say that we're filming like in a very unobtrusive way. Like we like to get more natural reactions to stuff. So we'll sit back, we'll put like a longer lens on and stuff. We'll get like the kind of the vibe of the party going on. And we don't really do any kind of posy stuff with the couples. We'll work with the photographer, and we might say to the couple like, right, can we go outside, go for a little wander for like five minutes or something. But that's kind of the only pose and stuff that we do. The rest of like, if you've seen any of our films, it's all quite natural anyway. Like you document it as it's going on, you know. In terms of blending in, you've just got to like, I don't know, chat to people and just kind of like blend in and you know, I think talking to the friends and stuff and the best man and the like the bridal party, as long as you get chatting to them fairly early, you know, it's pretty good because like, you know, they'll kind of, you know, they'll not walk away when you go and stand next to them, you know, you'll kind of feel comfortable and straight away. And I think that's testament to like, me and Charlotte have both worked in bars like throughout our life until like, you know, 5 years ago or something. And I feel like that's definitely kind of helped because like, you know how to talk to people, you know how to, you know, have a conversation with a stranger, you know. And yeah, just being like nice to people and that, man. Like people often kind of mistake with the photographers as well because the cameras are really small. We don't take a lot of equipment with and stuff. You know, I take a whole lot more equipment to IBE with it. So yeah, that's kind of it, man. Just cracking on with everyone and having a good time. Like we genuinely love weddings as well, so that definitely makes it easier.
I we're going to lean on from the equipment side of it. You know, you could be, on site for 12, 16, 18 hours sometimes. Yeah. Like, so do you try to pack light because of that reason, because you want everything that you're on the go?
Yeah, so Charlotte just carries one camera. She doesn't even carry like a bag or anything. Well, then I'll take a satchel with a couple of extra lenses and we'll have like a little station set up, like a battery charging station and stuff like that. But yeah, I think if you turn up, you know, for first thing in the morning and you turn up like where the bridal party's getting ready and you turn up with a muckle backpack and like 2 rolling bags and they're just like, Jesus Christ, what you do, you know, it's just too intense and it's really intimidating. Whereas if you go in, it looks like you're not really carrying anything. You've got a camera like in your hand by your waist. It's like, all right, sweet, is that it? You know?
Yeah.
And it's all about making people feel as comfortable as possible. Like we're very understanding in that, like it's not, most people don't get, you know, a team to follow them around for the day and document them for a day. Do you know what I mean? I know some people really want that, but most people, you know, aren't used to that at all, which is totally understandable. You know, it's not natural. So you've kind of just got to make people feel as comfortable and as relaxed as possible. And that's when like the true good stuff comes out, you know, like especially after like 1 or 2 shandies as well. That's when like the real kind of raw emotion comes out, you know, and that's what we live for. So yeah.
How do you balance the wanting to get off in a sense of you've got the first dance, but you know that more wild scenes are going to come probably 2 or 3 hours after? Like how do you fit that?
So we I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't want to slate other people who do this, but we never leave like straight after the first dance. Like our films are very much, unless the couple aren't very party central, unless they're not bothered, we'll always make a massive thing of the nighttime as well.
Because I think that's sometimes underplayed in a lot of videos that I've seen and a lot of weddings that I've been to as well.
Yeah, man. Like people want to see dancing because everyone's loose by then. Do you know what I mean? And everyone wants to show off a little bit. And to be honest, we just get like in amongst the dancer. Like the best footage that I've got is just like honestly just holding my camera like that, getting right in the mixer. Like we filmed a wedding in October last year, and there was a Cayley band on, and that was like the sickest thing ever, man. Like it was so much fun. Band? It's like it's traditional Scottish kind of Celtic dancing with a band. I might have completely like described that completely like incorrectly there, but I think that's what it means. You know, there's like violin and guitarist, drums and all that, and it's absolutely sick. And we were just getting right in amongst it, and like elbows were flying and stuff, and like I was always getting walked away with like two black eyes by the end of the night, you know. And but it's good because you get like if it's been a particularly wild party, you'll film it in a certain way, you know. Like I'll make it look like, you know, with a don't want to get like too technical, but like make it look stuttery if it's been like a really wild party, and you know it kind of it shows off what was happening at that time, you know. And then you'll film some stuff in slow motion because you want to be able, like anyone wants to see the grandma getting spun around in slow motion. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's it, mate. You just look for those kind of moments and just get involved, and you know, I think. It's when videographers especially get a lot of bad rep for kind of turning up and not talking to people and have all of this equipment and looking a little bit weird and a little bit, you know, creepy, just kind of sitting around the corner and stuff. And I think like if you just apply yourself and get to know people and create these kind of little relationships during the day, then you get the best out with people later on, you know?
That's cool, man. And last few from me, and one of them is, you've mentioned the name Charlotte, so for everyone who's watching, that's your wonderful missus, who also shares her birthday with my mum, 19th March.
Yeah.
Might shout for that. But where's her sort of involvement coming to it? Has she always been keen into the videography side and the filming side, or has it just been something where it's just worked, you know, coming with you on sites and then getting into it a bit more?
So Charlotte's an amazing photographer. She always has been. And we had a very, very short-lived kind of party planning business a few years ago. And it was like we were both still working full time, and it didn't really work out and stuff. But it was nice, you know, and we realised we could work together, which was pretty sick, to be honest, because a lot of people can't work with their better halves. Do you know what I mean? And then when it was the second wedding I ever shot, it was the first paid wedding that someone approached us about, got like a few £100 for it. And I said, Charlotte, I was like, right, I need your help. Do you want to come and shoot this with us? And she was like, yeah, sound. And then on that morning, this was well before Hello There Films was a thing. And we had like teach her how to like, you know, I knew that she knew like composition and framing and stuff like that. But it's just like, right, where's the record button rather than the shutter button? Do you know what I mean? And then we just kind of from there just went like strength to strength. And every wedding that we do, I've been able to be more reliant on her, which is pretty sick. And she's never really had any kind of interest before this in making films, and now she's just like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I can really rely on her for certain shots, which is like, you know, which is perfect. That's what's great about having two people, is that you have two angles of everything that's going on. You know, we'll take a third camera for certain things like ceremony and stuff like that. But it means we can split up as well. You know, like Charlotte can get the more kind of intimate bride prep stuff where it's.
I was going to say, is that another asset?
Yeah, man, massively. Like it means you can get more kind of. She's got a lot of stuff before where the mother and the mother-in-law is like helping the bride into the dress, and you know there's been like some tears and there's been some stories being told, which if I was there it would have been completely different, you know. Completely different vibe. And it's ace that, you know, she's got this kind of personality where people feel comfortable in front of her, like you know her as well, like you just feel totally at ease when you're talking to her. And yeah, I think that's kind of like definitely our USP going forward for the business, is to try and rely upon that a little bit, you know, because the stuff like you can get wedding films are pretty cheap these days, and we're not, you know, we're definitely not cheap, but like I feel like that side of it we've definitely got like not a leg up, because that sounds awful, but like it's definitely like a unique selling point. Do you know what I mean? There's not many people. There's plenty of husband and wife teams do it like all over the world, but definitely I can't think of any in the northeast of England. Definitely. So
fair play, man. The final one from me then is one of the things which was really cool when we had a proper top chat over a week, didn't we? Like that was
Yeah, man, it
probably
was good.
when
Yeah,
this was all like booting off and that. And like I felt like infused after it as a creative,
yeah,
because we were just both in the whoa, like everything that we sort of had planned is not coming through. What do we
yeah,
do? But we lifted each other up. And another thing that you said is that there was like a collective of wedding videographers as well, and you were sort of in
yeah.
a bit of a crew or a group. Like,
Hmm.
is that how it feels? Does it feel like there's a bit more of a union up there rather than the not competitive side? I don't think that's the right word, but do you feel like there's more people in there in the same boat that you can lean on and share experiences, which is making it a bit more bearable what's happening? And then also, have you all had a chat to predict or foresee what is the fallout of this when it picks back up?
So about 6, 7 months ago, I got invited to be part of this kind of Northeast photographer and videographer kind of group called the Breakfast Club. Like, shout out Breakfast Club, they're absolutely class. And it's not in any way competitive. It's just about like, asking people like if you've got problems, questions, you know me. I ask stupid questions if I don't know the answer. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the only way you're going to learn. And that group, has been like really, really quite sick in terms of making us feel comfortable in this. Because being self-employed, man, it's hard work and it's pretty scary, especially at this time. But yeah, like they kind of just invite us in, and then so before obviously all this kicked off, we'll meet up once a month for like a breakfast somewhere in Newcastle, like the northeast. Something like we'll go like Durham, Middlesbrough, whatever, and just
Stockton
kind
on teas.
yeah, man, definitely shout out Redcar when we go up that way. So yeah, that's pretty great because you've got this kind of outlet. If you are stressed about things, you can just ask, and people give you like a good, honest answer, and they're very open to talk about if you're feeling down, if you've got, this is a really, really difficult position to be in, like we work in an industry where you never, ever, ever, very rarely would you ever get repeat clients, so you've got people who,
That's a really interesting. Yeah, you
it's
won't
hard,
think
man.
about it.
Like,
You won't think
yeah.
about it until you said it.
So you've got to apply. So most people, when you have like this kind of service industry, you've got repeat clients. So you do the first 2 jobs for them, then you become reliable. Now you've got to like approach every single couple that even inquires is a completely new, and you've got to respect the fact that they've never done this before, which is is pretty crazy, really. But yeah, Breakfast Club's been really, really sick in terms of putting me at ease, especially over the last kind of like say 7 or 8 months since I've been involved. We'll just like send each other stupid memes and that. Like, we had like a Zoom call like a few weeks ago when we did like an online breakfast club type thing, and just just talk to each other like every day, and just refer people and stuff like that if we can't do certain jobs. And it's a good way to meet some of the people that like I've genuinely looked up to as well, like some of the photographers and some of the filmmaking people that I speak to like on a daily, like I've looked up to them for years, which is pretty crazy, so, but it's been ace. It's been a good like kind of personal experience for that. So yeah.
Good man, good man. I think that's us. Would you like to just sort of wrap up again by telling people where they can find you and where they can hit you up?
Yeah, definitely, man. So, Hello There Films is my wedding filmmaking company. That's where, everything's getting concentrated at the minute. And I also do freelance filmmaking as well. So, if anyone wants to just get at Craig Crouchman if they want any work done and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. HelloThereFilms.com. If you're getting married, give us a shout.
And also, Pete's come through. So he says, great chat, top advice on the weddings. And also, Pete, the collaboration. We want the
Yes, Pete,
collaboration.
get us involved, man, definitely.
Oh, and Hilly says, how are you, Craig? Shout out Hilly every time. Now, Craig, thank you so much for agreeing
No
to
worries,
do
man.
this.
Thanks for
Amazing
having us
chat,
on.
brother, as always. Say I'll do it, Charlotte, for me as
Will
well,
do,
man.
mate.
Stay
Thanks a
safe
lot.
in this time, yeah?
Take care, mate. Take care.
Peace.
See you later on.
Sophia, before you go, Sophia says, big love, you two champions, and that force, Charlotte.
It's definitely a force, yeah.
Bless you.
Just keeping this in check, mate.
Take it easy, brother. Stay
Take care,
safe, man.
Ben. See you
In a
later,
bit.
man.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So there you are, our third chat of today with Craig Crouchman. I wanted to speak to him, as you just saw, about how starting a new business and how you get sort of to where you are within a specific industry like the wedding industry, but also overall being a videographer in that way of life. So yeah, that was a good chat, man. I've had two previous chats. If you've just stopped on, so I spoke with Marco from Bundabust, and then I spoke with Rob Chadwick, who is a director at Jukebox PR. They are currently up on my Instagram lives now. And then any of the videos, including this one, what I do is I upload them onto my YouTube channel, which is Pop Cult Sheet. So you can see all the back catalogue of over 30 people now over the past 3 or 4 weeks that I've done. So definitely go check those out, because there are a lot of uplifting and optimistic chats that are on there. I'm going to be chatting in 15 minutes with Gemma, who's going to be speaking about the entertainment side from an actors and presenters point of view. And then my final chat of the day is with James Guy, who is the head honcho of King of the Hills, which is a social media platform for up and coming urban and grime MCs to get noticed through videos and just build up their online output basically, and get all eyes on them. So those are the two final chats. So make sure you bring it back with me at 6 o'clock with Gemma. Other than that, peace and light to you and yours.